Okay, so I've been making my rounds, playing all sorts of different RTS games, looking for the greatest one that I never really got to play, and now I finally gotten to one of the OG best historic games in Age of Empires 2. Let me just say, this game is basically a comedy. But perhaps not for the reason that you would think. After putting in some time and a couple of matches here and there, I have to say that this game has been great in all the best ways. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and find out if Age of Empires 2 is the greatest RTS game that I never played. So starting out, I like to just jump in and figure out the controls and everything else on my own. Seriously, my best experiences in my mind is just getting my hands dirty.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
I also feel fairly confident in my abilities here, as I've put tons of hours into Age of Mythology, so I'm fairly confident I can find my way around. I start out as a random 1 versus 1 against the standard AI. Here we go. At first glance, the UI is what you would expect from a nearly 25-year-old game. However, it is super simplistic: resource panels, unit panels, minimap, and more. Very basic, but again, I have said this a number of times, too many games try to do too much to be unique when in reality they just need to keep it simple. Looks like in this match I am playing as the Vikings against the Teutons, the Teutons, something. Really, I have no idea what this means as far as unit choice, but I'm here for all the disco Viking aesthetic. My first 10 minutes are just about gathering food from these local berry bushes, creating villagers, and building houses. Also, the scout cavalry that is running around, but I have like no idea why a scout would be able to see 2 feet in front of him. At least he's moving fast, I suppose, but it's like, dude, take off your blinders, right? The villagers walk like they are getting paid by the hour. Seriously, I had to build up a hefty amount of these guys to just even gather food, wood, and for some reason I went for stone first. I thought that stone was going to be more important. I figured as a start, the buildings down the line would be a lot better and require a lot more stone. Apparently, it really wasn't as important as I thought, but anyway, I quickly find out that the Dark Age is very slow, or at least I may not be doing it right. I'm nearly through all my berry bushes and I still need like 300 more food, so yikes. I have my villagers out hunting wild boars, and at this rate I am just doing my best to save up for the advance to the feudal age. Finally get up to 500 food, which seemed like a massive chore. Also, my horse is lost out in the wilderness somewhere. I have no idea what the hell he's doing. But anyway, we're able to progress. I create my first couple of units, I build up some farms, and start slaughtering every sheep in the Tri-County area like I'm the Chupacabra. I am anticipating an attack from my enemy, only to get a message that he's like already on the castle age. Like, dude, I just got here and I'm supposed to be keeping up with this crap? Good God. So I start panic recruiting units and building again, thinking this is like Age of Mythology, where I'll have a heavy attack early on and consistent attacks after that. I even built up a guard tower and ready to go. Well, luckily that stone did come in handy. I built an archery range along with my barracks to field some different units, and just like I thought, here comes the enemy units. It starts out with a couple of knights, but I have pikemen. Shouldn't be an issue, right? Except the knights make a beeline for my archers and basically kill them in 2 hits before I can micro them away. The first attack stops, so I focus on the infrastructure, building an armory, upgrading the town to the castle age, and finally the extra stone does pay off, even more so. I build a castle myself. Now I can recruit the special unit for the Vikings, the Berserker, which I'm not gonna lie, sounds awesome. I take some time to build up a decent standing army force, and then recruit some monks, onagers, and a bunch of horse archers, ready to make my move. Just about everything is upgraded to a decent level, so I'm fairly confident that it'll all be okay. I push towards the enemy town and come to the middle of the map, which is a small waterway. And it seems like the AI took the time to build a dock and some ships to attack with. The ships roll in and they literally start cooking my units alive as they cross the water. That's pretty neat. We move forward and I'm preparing for my main attack on their town, and I see this chunky monkey trying to run away with a relic. So, okay, so let's go ahead and hunt him down. This poor monk is probably like on some clerical mission, like healing the sick or something, but here I come with like a whole bunch of horse archers. This really made me laugh. This inspires the local town defense to attack, and oh my god, he has like 100 knights and 40 pikemen all charging at me at the same time. I legit have like awoken this angry AI beast. Elon Musk was right. Like, the knights alone are a pain to deal with, not to mention this flood of pikemen. Alright, so now I'm scared because he wrecked my entire standing force and now he's on his way to ruin the day for me. I have like no units to readily defend with my own, only my tower and my castle. I'm thinking this is going to end poorly. I garrison my villagers, hoping for the best. Now, surprisingly, my towers here are doing some serious work, especially the castle. The attack starts to slow down. and my villagers are able to return to work, but not after I lost my standing army, so it's my turn. I start pumping out units like I'm a 7th grade math teacher, and I'm ready to push in. I also built some battering rams and light scorpions to deal with the flood of knights on their way here, because the scorpions can deal more damage to, we'll say, horse-sized units. Except for some reason, all my units don't know who to attack, and my scorpions start clipping everything in a line. And apparently friendly fire is a thing in this game. After some awkward repositioning, my scorpions start laying waste to the enemy knights, and it's time to push in further. Short battle later, I push over my enemy's town. I got myself my first win. Nice. Okay, so I start up a new match, except this time it's a 4-player free-for-all. I'm looking for that true free-play experience. This time I random as the Aztecs, who to this point are fairly straightforward. Nothing crazy. Similar to the Vikings, which I just played, I'm venturing a guess that I don't really have an emphasis on horse cavalry, but, you know, hey, it's worth a shot. This map, everything was good. I was ready to move my units out and start getting to work on other enemy towns, except this map has a heavy emphasis on shipbuilding. Seriously, the AI really does like their boats here. Well, I built a few galleys, as well as some siege units and a tower for defense, because I can just keep getting attacked by like 20 boats all at the same time. I can't really move out because every time that I start moving towards an enemy town, I just get peppered by a whole bunch of boats, and I need to take care of them first. Once I clear them out, I start pushing west to fight the Chinese. Now, I did recruit a trebuchet, which is kind of odd to think that the Aztecs have siege weapons like this, but hey, you know, it's Age of Empires. Paired with the Jaguars and the Eagle Warriors, thinking I had an advantage, until my dock is under assault by the Saracens, which, again, like 30 more boats just rolled up. And these guys, the computer loves their damn boats. After some death movements and micro, we defend the attack successfully while my main force destroys the Chinese main town. Not a bad fight initially. Since the Saracens actually want to fight, I move south with my siege and my mix of infantry, only to fight the greatest threat to any Central American force: religion. Out spews hundreds of monks who all start converting my army from 3 football fields away. Luckily, I positioned my siege just right to get a bunch of multi-kills fairly quickly, but now my army is cut off. The Saracens have moved their boats behind me, meaning any reinforcements are going to have to fight hundreds of boats. I position myself better to have more defensive marks, with siege being able to strike at a great distance until my boats can get back and defend. I push the town center down with little issue, thank you to my siege. This situation is also pretty funny here. I reconverted one of my archers just as one of my siege onagers launched its attack. He converted back into my unit just long enough to die immediately by my own siege attack. Stupid AI or crappy player, I don't know here. Anyway, I moved south to fight the Celts, who were the last enemy alive, and it seems like they didn't really have an army at all, except for just another shit ton of boats. God, the boats everywhere. Luckily, I'm able to spawn a whole bunch of boats, push no problem, simplistic win, free-for-all 4-player. This still didn't really provide me with that challenge. This, up until this point, was not doing enough for me, so I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and set the difficulty to moderate, which I kind of thought it was already, but run one last time playing a 4-player free-for-all. This time I'm the Byzantines. Now I know for the fact, thanks to my years of playing Medieval 2 Total War, the Byzantines are great with their cataphracts as heavy cavalry. I quickly advanced to the Castle Age with a very strong economy, but massive focus on cavalry. I have my knights spawning as well as some camel riders. Camels are strong against horses because for some reason horses don't like the smell of camels, I think that's historically correct. Well, it's a good thing because now I'm under attack from my enemies to the north and they are pushing hard. Luckily, I built my castle and I was right. Cataphracts, let's go horse army! We push a few times back and forth trying to gain leverage, but it seems like the basic stream of enemies that are constantly coming in are enough to stave off any advance from me. I built a couple of towers to defend to the north, but now we are holding, which is great because the Teutons are pushing crazy hard. I built up my army decently enough with, of course, some battering rams prepared to siege, and I push north. However, it seems like they are already under attack by the other AI, and this other faction has already made the Chinese forced to resign. Okay, so now this is interesting. I'm actually getting to play against a decent enemy force. We clear out that town to the north of the Teutons, forcing the resignation there. Now it's a 1v1 against Vikings, because I feel like the cavalry has an advantage here, not to mention a decent amount of siege ready to go. I track down all their archers and siege units that are fleeing from my town, and make a move towards their base, but by this time I have paladins and siege cannons. Oh, we are ready. This is like the perfect time to siege. I push the town and find very few units. Again, actually, I'm kind of underwhelmed here. I am met with, again, 1,000 boats. Like, I don't know what the AI thinks about these boats, but good God, they have so many of them. With no one ready to defend the town and the boats only peppering my horses, it's a simple forced resignation. I've seen what I needed to make an opinion on this game, so here are my thoughts. So getting started with this game is actually very intuitive, very simple to understand. No crazy concepts, nothing strenuous, super strenuous with the overlay, nothing like that. Simply put it in beginner's friendly mode, and I love this. We need more of this. Because of the simple design, it allows me to focus on the strategy, the unit composition, things like that. One thing that I've avoided from other RTSs is that they put such a crazy emphasis on in-game systems. And again, the early RTS games were the best. Age of Empires 2 does it great. They did nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. Here are your buildings, here are your units, now go to work. Now, I do think that it did move kind of slow for a match. Just to get out of the first age, it was the snail's pace. But for my first time getting into the game, this isn't really a bad thing. I was able to understand more about the concepts of the game, of what I needed to translate over from my experience of Age of Mythology, but it let me read and understand everything without being basically forced into the next stage and missing a whole bunch. In contrast to what my Age of Mythology experience and playthroughs are, they felt kind of rushed. It didn't feel organic there, but here in Age of Empires, I actually like the slower pace. Certainly picked up once we got into the castle age. Also, hilariously, and probably the funniest part of the game is the use of monks. Literally spawning like 30 monks and all trying to convert my army from a mile away. That was absolutely hilarious. That made me laugh so damn hard. The unit compositions in this game kind of feel bland, I'll be honest with you. And I suppose, again, with this age game, that, you know, at least they had some type of unique unit that is for each faction, so it offers a little bit of counterplay. Can't really get upset for them for that. One of my major quarrels, we'll say, is actually with how the AI played. The AI was, in a sense, kind of slow, and a lot of the times they would just randomly spawn a ton of units and start pushing hard, but then it was when I pushed, there was no unit creation. There was nothing left to defend the town. It was just, okay, we give up. You got us. And there was a lot of times that it felt, we'll say, too easy in that sense. Now, when it came to the shipbuilding and all that, the AI was on point, which is hilarious. I don't know, the boats in this game are so damn stressful. But it was a lot of fun overall as a new player in Age of Empires. There was only a couple times that I really felt stressed or overly challenged. And, you know, RTS games can be super stressful, trying to wrap up a 30 to 35 minute game in the last 2 minutes, really deciding it. So there were some times that I felt that it was fast paced, and then there was other times that I felt slow paced. But I will say that I certainly had a great time. And this is one game, if you just want like an old kind of like RTS style gameplay, and especially even in the HD editions that they have for this, like, go and play this. I highly recommend this game. I had a great time. It was hilarious. If you want to see my returning player's point of view of Age of Mythology and why it's shockingly good, click this video here. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.